I'm going to share with you some of the mistakes that I made in my first year of training. And if you avoid these mistakes, you are guaranteed to make faster progress than I did, right? So let's get into it. This is about my first year of training and the mistakes that I made. In my first year of training, I went from this to that, right? So I went from 154 pounds at 6'2", which is very light if you are my height, right? 6'2", to 192 pounds. I'm actually like 194 now, so I've gained about 40 pounds of muscle in exactly a year, right? So I started working out on the 14th of January 2025. It's the 18th of January 2026. So I've worked out for exactly a year now. So I've put on 40 pounds of mass, and these are the things that I did or these are the mistakes that I can pass on to you to avoid to actually make more progress than I did, right? So let's get into it. The first thing is I wasn't training or I wasn't focusing on the 7 aesthetics muscles, right? So if you want to train to get the aesthetic physique, the physique that's going to get you the attraction from girls, the physique that's going to get you the attention, right? You probably read this phrase like a lot on the internet, right? That training only gets your attention from men and not women, right? That's probably because you're focusing on the wrong exercises. You're probably doing a workout split that just consists of what is it, like deadlifts, uh deadlifts, squats, and what's the last one? Deadlift, squats, and bench press, right? Deadlift, squats, and bench press, right? You're probably focusing on a workout routine that just focuses on those workouts, right? But instead, if you focus on these 7 aesthetic muscles, you'll be able to actually make progress. So let's go through all these 7 aesthetic muscles one by one, and then I'll tell you exactly how to work them out and how to make progress with these muscles exactly over here. So you've got all these 7. You've got neck, upper traps, chest, upper chest, lateral delts, obliques, lats, and biceps, right? So let's get into it. The first one, and I'm probably the first person to ever tell you about this, is neck and upper traps, right? You've probably never heard anyone ever tell you about training neck in your life, right? And you probably won't even see this anywhere else on the internet that you should be training your neck, right? But your neck is very important because that's like one of the parts that's always out, right? Whatever like shirt, outfit you wear, your neck is always out. And if you train your neck and you get it to look a little bit more thicker, right, it gives you that more masculine look, and then you're going to have a more attractive look to you when you have a thicker neck than you would if you have a skinnier neck. I'll show you pictures before I started training neck, because I've only trained neck for about 4 months now. I'll show you pictures in the coming slides where I wasn't training neck, and you see the clear difference, right? So you're going to need 2 exercises for one for neck and one for upper traps, right? We've just bunched these together. Upper traps are like these parts over here, so it's like this part over here. These like these muscles over here. That's the upper traps over here. And training these is also very important. As you can clearly see, when you've got like some developed upper traps, I've only trained mine for like 4 months or so. But when you've got like developed upper traps, it just looks better than if you just had like a straight line going upwards like this and it wasn't developed, right? So for neck, you're going to need to do narrow grip barbell shrugs, right? So shrugs are just basically when you go like this, right? You're just doing this up and down, but you hold a barbell and you hold it like close together. You hold your hands close together like this, and then you just go up and down like this, up and down. Those are narrow grip barbell shrugs. You can do this on a Smith. You can do this free weight. These are good for the neck, right? And then for the upper traps, you do wide grip barbell shrugs. So basically, you can get dumbbells or a barbell, right? On the same barbell, you just put your hands wide to about shoulder width, and then you just go up, straight down, straight up, straight down. That's basically wide grip barbell shrugs. And then dumbbell shrugs is exactly the same thing. You hold dumbbells instead of a barbell, and you go up and down. That's going to work out this muscle over here, the upper traps right here. And that's going to be very important for you to be able to get that more aesthetic look compared to just looking like a power lifter, right? The second thing, and this is an important one, is upper chest, right? As you can see in this picture to my left right here, I basically had no chest. In fact, I had negative chest, right? One guy once said you could measure my chest to the spirit level. Like, so there's this like instrument that you use to measure flat surface. It's got like a bubble thing inside. And then if you put it on a flat surface, it shows you that it's flat. It's a whole thing. But one guy said you could measure my chest to the spirit level, and that's true because as you can see, my chest was absolutely flat, right? I even had negative chest, is what I'd like to call it, right? And I went from like this to this in 1 year, right? And the things that I did were basically, I mostly trained my upper chest. And how upper chest works is like the fibers that connect your chest, most of them run through your upper chest, and also your upper chest is the hardest one to develop, right? So working on your upper chest will give you overall chest growth, but working on like your lower chest, right, won't give you the upper chest growth. It will just look weird, and it look like you have like boobs kind of, instead of having like that rounded chest that you want, right? So to train upper chest, you're going to need an incline movement, right? You can do incline dumbbell press, you can do incline Smith, you can do incline bench. It has to be an incline movement. You set a bench to like 45 degrees, right? 45 degrees, something like that. You set a bench to 45 degrees, and then you pick up like dumbbells, and then you just press them like that. That's basically the movement that I do, and that's my favorite one to do. It's just incline dumbbell press, right? That's going to target this upper chest, this upper region here, and also again, it's also going to still give you the overall chest development, right? So upper chest is very important, and probably one of the more important ones on this whole list, right? So train upper chest. The next one is lateral delts. Lateral delts are basically your shoulders, and lateral delts specifically compared to like front delts and rear delts. Lateral delts are important because they give you more width to your V taper. So a V taper is basically like, you've probably heard this somewhere, you want to have a structure that looks like this, right? It's like the V taper is like you have your wide shoulders and your like a narrower waist, right? So your structure looks exactly like this. This is what your back would look like, right? This is what's attractive on like a male physique. It's like the same way if you see a girl with like a hourglass physique, right? Where it's like she's like whoop curves or something like that. Hourglass physique, you know what that is, right? You are attracted to that. Girls are just attracted to the V taper, which is like the exact same thing for them, right? For us, it's like the hourglass thing. So to add on to that, right, the most important thing that you can do for your V taper is the lats, but I'm getting to that. But the lateral delts are also going to add on, which are basically your shoulders, right, your side caps, yeah. And when you train them and they look developed, right, you can see you start getting like these shadows, yeah. These are also very important for the guys who are going to use this information when they're now after aesthetic physique, when they want to take pictures and whatever. Having like shadows, yeah, is very important, right? It's going to just make your physique look more amplified, right? So shoulders are very important, and especially lateral delts, right? And how you're going to train them, you're going to do cable or dumbbell lateral raises. That's basically, you put a cable, you just raise it like that, or you hold dumbbells and raise it. You can search up all these exercises on YouTube or something. Super simple, but train lateral delts at least twice per week, right? That's very important. Just depending on your schedule, you can train them once if you go a few times to the gym, right? The next important thing is obliques and abs, right? Abs and obliques, this one's a very obvious one. I won't have to explain it too much. Abs are these parts over here, obliques are the side parts over here. You probably just knew about the abs, but obliques are also very important, that the side muscles that run through like that. These are also important. They add on to the attractiveness that you have, right? And I have all the exercises listed right here. You can just search these up. You need to do leg raises for your lower abs, crunches for your upper abs, and then obliques. You can do like any type of twists. There's many twists that you can do, like Russian twist or something. There's many twists you can do for obliques, right? So you can still search this up and find out which ones you like the best, right? Abs, again, I won't go through too much detail in this because this one's a very obvious one why it's attractive. Lats are the thing that I mentioned before. They're basically this part of your back here, right? Basically this part of the back here. This is going to add on to the V taper that I mentioned before in the previous slide. And this is the most important thing that you can do for your V taper. It's going to give you that width to your whole frame, right? It's going to give you that whole like width to your frame and give you that good, nice shoulder to waist ratio that you want, right? So that's lats. And lats, you're basically just going to do pull downs or pull ups. Choose one of the two. I do pull downs because I just prefer to do pull downs. Basically, they're both the same exercise. So choose one of the above and then just do that for lats. Biceps, again, a very obvious one. You just need to have bigger biceps, and what you need to do for biceps is hammer curls or preacher curls, just some sort of curls, right? Again, you can look these up on the internet or on YouTube and find out the bicep exercises that you can do, right? Bicep, another very obvious one. I won't go too much into detail with that. So that was the first part of the video, the first mistake that I made, and that was that not training the aesthetic muscles and just doing more of these deadlifts, squats thing that you see on the internet. The second thing was training alone, right? This one is a detriment. It's not really a detrimental mistake, but it's a big mistake because look, one of the basically the most important thing that you can do in the gym is to stay consistent, right? For you to stay consistent, gym has to be an enjoyable experience, right? You go to the gym, you grit your teeth, you grind it out for a few days, you use discipline, right? But the longer you go when you're unmotivated, it's just not good. Like, it takes a toll and you just feel unmotivated, you don't go as hard, you just go there for the sake of going there. But if gym is an enjoyable experience and you look forward to going to the gym every single day, then you're just going to be so consistent in the gym. You're going to not miss days, and it's just going to be so good for you, right? So one of the best things you can do is training with people who actually love the gym and people who are going to push you, right? You know the saying, iron sharpens iron. When people push you, right, in the gym, you're basically just going to train a lot harder, and you're basically going to train a lot better, right? So I've got like some of my buddies who I train with. You can just see from the video that's playing in the background. I put my phone, like my face over here. You can see from the video that's playing in the background, I've got my buddies who I train with, and we all just absolutely love the gym. It's like there's always like competition between us, trying to make more progress than the other person, and that just pushes each and every one of us to just do better each and every single day, right? And that's an important thing, right? When you all push each other, you're just going to make so much more progress. You're going to make so much more progress. You're going to have fun in the gym, and it's going to be so good for your consistency that like you basically not ever skip gym days, right? So this is one of the more important tips I can pass on to you. Training with people who love the gym. Train with a friend or friends if you've got multiple. That's a very important thing. The third thing is shiny object syndrome, right? And this one is basically something that I can say it's almost inevitable. You're going to have to like go through this, but now that you know this, and if you haven't started the gym, now that you know this, the effects are going to be a lot less because you're going to realize it when you're doing it. Shiny object syndrome is basically this. You see how I've told you like the muscles to train, how I've told you the exercises to do to train those muscles. Of course, there's other muscles like legs and everything that I haven't included in this video, but you see how I've told you like how to train some muscles. Let's say bicep, for example. I've told you to do like curls, or even better, I've told you to do like incline dumbbell press for your upper chest, right? Shiny object syndrome is you train that for a month. You do incline dumbbell press, right? You're making progress, but you're not making as fast progress as you thought you would. You do it for another month. You do it for 2 months now. You're making progress, you're making progress. One day, you see someone on the Smith, right? Instead of dumbbells, you see someone doing the Smith. You're like, whoa, the Smith looks pretty cool. Let me see that. You train with that guy on the Smith. You're like, you know what? I'm going to start doing Smith now. I'm going to start doing Smith, incline, Smith. Next time you go and you do incline bench, right? Free weights or something. You start lifting free weights. You're like, whatever. Every time you keep changing exercises and changing routine and changing workouts and changing splits, right? Doing this only resets your progress. And it's something, again, you're going to do this, right? It's almost like guaranteed for everyone who goes to the gym. You're going to do this. But now that you know, it's just going to ring at the back of your mind, like, why am I doing this? The more you stay consistent to just one split, one exercise, one workout, right? The faster progress you make. It's just like a streak. If you keep adding 1 day to your streak, like the longer your streak goes, the more progress you make. Every time you reset your progress by going to another like machine or going to another exercise or changing your split or something, it's just resetting your progress each and every single time. And this one's a very important one because you're definitely going to go through this. So the next time you see yourself looking at other exercises, at other workout routines and everything, just remember shiny object syndrome. And the next time you start switching up exercises and things, remember shiny object syndrome. It's like I suffered a lot from this because like I get bored of things very quickly, right? So I want to have like new experiences all the time, right? And sometimes like the same exercises you've been doing can get boring. You want to do new things, right? Because you've been doing it for months, right? But if you try and just remember this one concept of shiny object syndrome, right? And you just remember that you keep resetting your progress every time you swap things, right? The less you do it, you realize you're going to just end up making more progress. Right? I've made more progress than like most people around me, like 99% of the people around me, just because I don't swap things a lot now that I know this concept, right? I just keep the same thing. If I've been doing incline dumbbell, I'm just going to do incline dumbbell for years. I'm just going to keep it at incline dumbbell. I won't randomly switch to incline Smith, randomly switch to free weights just because I've seen people doing it and it might look cooler or whatever. I'll just keep doing incline dumbbell and progressively overloading on those exercises, right? That's how you make progress in the gym in general. And then the fourth mistake is not taking supplements, right? And I know lots of people have lots of like different thoughts and beliefs about supplements, but I'm just going to tell you, you have to take them to see progress, and I'm going to tell you the ones that I took. These are the ones that I took. I took the 3 supplements: pre-workout, creatine. Where's the creatine? It's right there. Pre-workout, creatine, and whey protein. It's also right there. There's also pre-workout, by the way. These are the 3 supplements that I took, and I'm going to go through all of them one by one. So the first one is protein powder. Protein powder, I took whey protein, and I take like 1 or 2 scoops depending on like how much protein I'm having in my meals. Take 1 or 2 scoops per day. This one's self-explanatory. If you're a skinny guy watching this, if you're trying to be skinny forever, just don't take pre-workout. Don't take protein powder. If you don't take protein powder, you're just going to remain skinny. It's just like an unwritten law. You have to take protein powder. It's going to get you bigger, right? That one is just a must. It's not even a negotiable. Creatine, you take it once a day, 5 grams per scoop, right? So it's just basically 1 scoop. You take it, you put water, you drink it. There, it's just done. You take it every single day. You can take it with your protein. You can take it with, I haven't taken it with pre-workout. You can take it with water. If you've got a flavored one, you can put it in water, drink it, whatever. It's just creatine. You take it once a day. That's it. And then pre-workout is another important one. Now for pre-workout, what you want to do, if you haven't taken pre-workout, look for one which is like this one right here, where per scoop it's written something like 135 milligrams of caffeine, right? Because if you take one like this, which says fully dosed pre-workout, and it's got 325 milligrams of caffeine, you'll be able to handle the effects, but you might not enjoy that workout because you start feeling like dizziness, or you start feeling some nauseousness or something like that, just because you haven't taken pre-workout ever, and you've just gone on and taken the highest dosage of pre-workout there is, right? It's like you've just suddenly drank like 4 or 6 monsters at once, right? Your body wouldn't know how to process all that caffeine, right? So start off with one which is like 100 and something milligrams of caffeine. You take that, that's perfectly fine for you. You enjoy your workouts more, you lift heavier. There's a chemical in pre-workout that's called, is it beta alanine or something like that, right? Where that chemical basically sheds off the lactic acid in your muscles. The lactic acid is like the thing that makes you feel like the pain in not really the pain, but that makes you feel the fatigue and the tiredness when you're lifting, right? But this takes that away, so it gives you the ability to be able to lift more and lift longer than you would have if you're not taking pre-workout, right? So it's like if you've watched Solo Leveling, it's basically like when he drinks the potions for the buff magic, and then he has like added boost and everything, right? This is basically what that is, right? It's basically the potions in Solo Leveling. That's basically what pre-workout is. So take pre-workout, don't take a fully dosed, don't take one which is like 100 something milligrams. Take creatine, take protein powder. All of these are essential for growth. And then the last thing I can tell you is not progressively overloading. This is like a fundamental concept of lifting. Progressively overloading is just that you go to the gym today for the first time, you pick up those light dumbbells, like the pink dumbbells that you see that like women use for running or whatever. You pick up those dumbbells, you lift, you bicep curl them, they're heavy. You go back home, it's very painful, your body is sore. You go back to the gym a few days later, you pick up a slightly heavier weight than the pink dumbbells. You lift those, you lift those, you lift those, you feel that same amount of pain. You go back home, the next week you come, you can lift a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier. Week after week, you're able to lift a little bit heavier, a little bit heavier. This basically, you need to just like constantly do this. This is the only way to make progress. Just constantly, progressively overload, right? You go, you lift, like now that you can lift like a little bit heavier after a few weeks and months of lifting. You go, you lift, you feel pain, right? But you don't necessarily feel that pain that you felt on your first day of training, right? That means you stopped progressively overload. You need to feel that exact pain you felt on your first day of lifting. You need to feel like you can't lift at all. You go to failure, you do like 10 reps, you go to absolute failure. The next week you do like 12 reps, you go to absolute failure, and then you drop down the dumbbells you're using, you pick up heavier dumbbells, you go to absolute failure, you keep doing this over and over again. This is how you make progress, progressively overloading. And this is like the one concept that I would say you should even consider more than everything that I've taught you in this video. This is the one concept that you should really take seriously, because this will make or break your progress, right? You need to progressively overload. So that's it for this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and like the video and do all the things that will boost the algorithm for me. Thank you.